What is going on, pressure washers? I'm going to share with you some metrics that I track in my $2 million pressure washing company. And let's go ahead and present this screen. I'm going to show you exactly the numbers and explain exactly what I track in my pressure washing company and how you can start tracking these yourself. So these are what I call leading metrics. If you've heard of the word profit and loss, I know you probably have, that is what you call a trailing report. By the time the numbers make it to the profit and loss, it's way too late to make anything happen. Okay, so you have to be tracking your leading metrics. Okay, and then what you have here is what I call secondary metrics. And don't hang me if I'm missing something. I put this together in like 3 minutes so that everybody could get their creative juices flowing and get an idea of what I was talking about. So what we have here is the business vending machine. So you put money in the top or you put your leads, right? And it spits out a big fat bank account balance down at the bottom. Now, everything is in order so that it is easy to troubleshoot. The business becomes easy to troubleshoot. If you've ever read the book Traction or the first book, E-Myth, which is great, the second one is Traction, they tell you to create a scorecard. This is the scorecard right here. There it is. That's the scorecard. Okay, this is leading metrics that you need to be tracking weekly in your company. So I'll go ahead and dive into this. This becomes very easy to troubleshoot because if you have a problem in the middle with one of these leading metrics, it's usually a metric right above it. If it's not that one, you go to the next one, you go to the next one, and you solve the problem over and over and over and over. Okay, so as we can see at the top, we have all of our marketing sources: Google, door knocks, door hangers, email marketing, Facebook, street signs. Those are our marketing, right? Those are our marketing dollars producing total leads. Okay, so total leads in the vending machine, they're going in the top. The first one is scheduled estimates. So are we scheduling enough estimates? And you'll need to create these targets, right, based on your goal for the year, right? You're just going to reverse engineer your goal. What's your goal for the year? Your revenue goal? Okay, what's your average ticket? All right, back it all down to your scheduled estimates and you'll start creating these targets for yourself. I'll make a video on how to do that. But anyway, scheduled estimates, okay? So if we don't have enough scheduled estimates on the week, guess what I'm looking at? I'm looking at, do we have enough leads? Okay, yes, we do have enough leads. Okay, so now what are we saying on the phones? Booking rate. Okay, there's a problem with the office. It could be what they're saying on the phones. A lot of times when we get really, really busy, the office doesn't think anything of it. And they're like, hey, yes, Mr. and Miss So-and-so, we're 3 weeks out. We could get you on the schedule in 3 or 4 weeks. And that person's like, no, I'm going to call somebody else. Get it sooner. Okay, so that's always a good big old leak in the vending machine that happens, okay? Next one, total sales. So if we notice, hey, our total sales aren't good for the week, then I'm going to be looking at the salesperson's closing rate, okay? And then I'm going to be looking at their average ticket. If you have a low closing rate, you probably have a high ticket price. If you have a high closing rate, you probably have a low ticket price, okay? If you have neither, then you have a salesperson that can't close a deal, okay? So they've got to go, you got to get somebody else in there, okay? Obviously, if those two things were working perfectly, then I would look at my schedule estimates. Are we scheduling enough estimates to get the total sales? Okay, now we're going to move on to scheduled jobs. I really don't have a secondary metric for that other than tracking the scheduled job dollar amount that's on the schedule so that we hit our yearly revenue goal. Okay, so obviously if we don't have enough on the schedule, I'm going to be saying, hey, sales guys, are we selling enough? Okay, yeah, we are. Are we scheduling enough? Yeah, no, we're not, and then look at our total leads. So do we have enough leads coming into the system? All right, so let's move on down to the completed jobs. So if we're not completing enough jobs, it could be we're not scheduling enough jobs. We're not getting enough sales. We're not getting enough estimates. What is the problem? So it's very easy to troubleshoot. You just start going up to the above metric and looking at it. So completed jobs, we could even have an efficiency issue. We could have a lot of callbacks. Maybe our guys need more training. So it could be something like that if everything else is working properly. You're going to look at that secondary metric. Collecting money. So if we're not collecting enough money and everything above the top is working, then we have a collections issue. So we're going to look at that secondary metric. One thing to improve your collections rate is to get a credit card on file. So one thing that I didn't implement until 4 years later. So we were always having tons and tons of money in collections. So there you have it. The bottom would be the bank account balance. So again, these are your leading metrics. These are going to decide whether or not you have a good looking profit and loss for the month, whether or not your business has good health or not. So I definitely recommend diving into these, figuring out how to track them. Even if you just have to track them manually, it doesn't have to be perfect. But what I would tell you to do is track all of this on the same day, at the same time, the same way you look at everything, over and over and over again, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. You just get into the routine of doing it, okay? So on like Friday evening, I get the bank account balance, the ending bank account balance. Even if there's deposits going into it, I'll see it next week, whatever. It gives me an idea. It does not have to be perfect. The way you track it needs to be perfect, okay? So the way you track it needs to be consistent, okay? That is more important than whether or not all of these numbers are perfect, okay? So there you have it. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.